Hello and welcome to the 2022-23 school year. My name is Amy Reed and I teach AP Physics 1 and Honors Algebra 2 at Shawnee Mission South High School. This video is to help you with back to school night. So some of you are able to come to back to school night and that's great. Some people are not able to. So if you're not able to come, you are able to watch this video and go through everything, learn everything we would have learned at back to school night. So in this video, I'm going to go through the information I have on a PowerPoint. So welcome to Physics and Math at Shawnee Mission South. Welcome to the video edition of Back to School Night for AP Physics 1. A little bit about myself. This is a picture of me with my husband, my son, and dog. We sent off Robert to University of Alabama this summer. So many of you have sent off children to school and you know how consuming that can be. So we spent most of our summer trying to do whatever we need to do to help him get out the door and help him find success at Alabama. I grew up in Shawnee Mission, went to K-12, Shawnee Mission schools, graduated from Shawnee Mission East. I went on to KU where I majored in English education, minored in math education, and then also went on to get a master's degree in education. Then a couple of years ago, I decided to pick up an additional certification and to teach physics. So that's what I am doing now. I've been teaching physics since 2018 and actually, 2017. I really love it. It is a lot of fun for me. One thing I really like about math is the application problems. And when you talk about application problems in math, oftentimes you talk about physics. So I really enjoy physics. I like how it integrates mathematics with real world problem solving. And that's really what I enjoy. This is my 5th school that I have been at, and I have also been at other Shawnee Mission schools, and I've been outside of the district, but I really love South. This is my favorite school that I've been at, and I hope to be here for a while. I enjoy what I'm teaching, I enjoy the administration, I enjoy the people I work with, so I'm happy to be here at South, and I love teaching physics and math. So this slide actually is from last year. I have to say I did not take very good pictures this year, but this is the same lab that we did the first lab this year. The other day, we did the same lab. Some of the classes went outside on the driveway, like these classes are. The other class went to the track and did their lab on the track. So we are working with kinematics, which means things like speed, velocity, distance, acceleration. And so we're using these little toy buggies to experiment and collect data for what we're going to learn. In this lab, it is such a rich lab. There is so much we can do with it. So I have the students using some math to do some calculations. We are doing some graphing. Another reason I like this slide is I had the student who drew up these graphs. I had this student in Algebra 2 honors, and they were okay. I mean, they were an okay student. Quite honestly, they just very, very bright and maybe didn't always do their work. However, when they came to physics, I just saw them really, really blossom. They became more involved. For some students, physics seems more applicable and they're more willing to do the work if it's something that they can see where it's going to be applied. So anyway, I just loved seeing these graphs that this person made and how beautifully organized, etc., when the person I knew before was not necessarily the organized student. So it's fun for me to have both of those classes, to have Honors Algebra 2 followed by Physics 1. I get to see a lot of growth and just a different side of a lot of students, which is a lot of fun for me. Okay, what we cover in this class, this says curriculum, but it's really more like points and things like that. 10% will be things like homework and classwork, and we will do portfolios with that. What that means is we will have some problem sets, some things we do online. There will be some things that we turn in, but a lot of it we don't turn in. And so what I do instead is, rather than collecting every single assignment, because I used to collect every single assignment, all the notes, everything we've done, and it got to be overwhelming for the students and overwhelming for me, but mostly the students. I saw a lot of students really struggling, and then especially when we went online and the parents were trying to figure out, what, you're saying there's 3 assignments due today? It was just too much. So I've gone over to portfolios. What that means is we will have some assignments for a week or two, and then I'll have a portfolio over what we've covered. Some of that portfolio might be specific questions from assignments that we've done or notes that we've done or discussions that we've had. Some of them might be more overarching, like, can you explain the difference between velocity and acceleration? Just some things that make sure that they are understanding the content in its fullness. So that's how we work with classwork or homework. Labs are worth 20% of their grade. Labs in this class are open-ended and thought is required. In other words, in some science classes, the teacher gives out a lab, and this may be how you experienced it. It is how I experienced it. And it's like a handout, and it's like a recipe, and you just follow step by step this recipe. That is not how labs work in AP Physics 1. The College Board is asking the teachers to not do that, but instead asking us to expect more thought. And the students then collaborate with each other on, okay, if we want to determine the speed, what do we have to measure? What are we going to have to bring outside? If we're going outside to measure these cars, what do we measure? How many do we do? Et cetera, et cetera. So they are developing their own, and that is how the AP curriculum is designed. And then the tests are worth 70% of their grade. All of the questions on the tests are AP style. In other words, I go back to old AP tests and I sort of cherry pick questions from each unit to create a test. Some of those are multiple choice questions. Some of those are free response questions, which is also how the AP test is organized. I really, all throughout the year, my goal is to have your kids do well on the AP test. So to me, that means you're understanding the content, you understand how physics works, but you're also familiar with the style of the test and how it is set up as well. Now, since it is an AP test, basically, it's just one unit of it, I do use a curve. It is a curve that a lot of teachers across the nation use. That's where I got it. And it just allows the students, it allows me to assign these more rigorous questions without feeling like they're getting penalized for it. Then what else? Well, we do have books, we have videos, we have online interactives, we have labs. All of these things are used as a resource. Our book is actually an online textbook. It's called OpenStax. I do have physical copies of an older book called, which is authored by a man named Surway, and I can give them a Surway textbook if they want to have one to read, but I have found that the online textbook works pretty well. This is a rigorous class. Students will need to study. And when I say rigorous, it's difficult material. However, because of that rigor, or maybe in spite of that rigor, I don't know, I don't give a lot of homework. There is some homework. They will probably have homework every week, maybe not every night, but maybe every other night they will. So they will have some homework. I try to make the homework that is doable at home. For a long time, I assigned problem sets for the kids to do at home, and I know what they were doing. They were just going online and getting the answers and copying it down, and they did not understand them. So we're now doing problem sets in class. Things that are at home are things like maybe videos, maybe lab write-ups where they've worked on most of it together and now they just have to finish it up, studying for tests, things like that. All of that will be at home, but in class we'll be doing a bulk of the work. Then talking about studying, by the time we get to the AP test at the end of the year, they will be prepared for the test. We will have about 2 weeks where we can devote to studying for that test. However, they are going to have to study. If they want to get a 4 or a 5 on this test, you do have to study. You cannot just walk in that day and show up and do well. It's just not how it works in AP Physics 1. Okay, what do we study? Semester 1, we study, like I mentioned a minute ago, kinematics. That's things like velocity, speed, distance, time. Dynamics means forces. Circular motion, gravitation, energy. And then second semester, momentum, impulse collisions, simple harmonic motion, which is things like pendulums, and rotational motion. And then, like I said, we will have about 2 weeks at the end where we will be reviewing for the AP test. Now, I say that there are 2 weeks, which there are, but the students who are taking this class are often taking other AP tests, and so they get a little bit overwhelmed with studying for all that during that couple of week time. It is an overwhelming time for them. This layout of the order that I've put these in, this is the order that the AP curriculum is also ordered in. So if they go online and look for any College Board materials, the College Board materials are organized the same way. This is just a little bit of information for you on AP Physics test results, and you are welcome to pause this here and kind of go through it. But one thing I just try to warn students and parents is that the AP Physics 1 test, I kind of mentioned this a minute ago, is one of the lowest scoring tests nationally. The number of 4s and 5s over here, you can see 4s and 5s globally, about 22%. South, we're at 25%. So we typically are a little bit above the global, maybe not a lot, maybe just a little bit above that global level for the averages. And then 3, 4, and 5, we are also a little bit above that. And so I just have the historical data of how people did, what their scores came out to be. And I almost every year, excuse me, almost every year, if you add up the 4s and 5s, I'm right at about 22, 25%. How did I get 25% there? I'm not sure where I got that. That should be, oh, that's, sorry, because I wasn't looking at, I think I have those two numbers upside down. I'll go double check them. But we are just about 25% in the 4s and 5s. So 22% here, 22% here, 22% here, 25% here, 21% here. So just about 20 to 25% of 4s and 5s every year. And then our 3s also about 25%. A couple of years we did really, really well. Well, this year was 2020. So only 9 people took it. So anyway, every year we have about 22% of the people get 4 and a 5, and then another about 22% get a 3 as well. This year I was really disappointed that I had more 1s than I've ever had. And I have spoken with a couple people about that, and we just think that, the attitudes of people across the board, whether you're talking about students, employees, or what, it's just, if they don't see a direct impact on them of why should they do this, they're not going to do it. And so I think that's what happened here with this high number of 1s. In the previous years, it was always about 10%. And then this year came up to 32, which was really disappointing for me. So anyway, that goes back to what I was saying a second ago, that if you want to do well, you have to study. If you don't study, you're honestly going to get a 1 or a 2. Okay, that is the information that I have for you. Please feel free to contact me anytime if you'd like to have a conference. This is my email, which is the best way to contact me. This is my WebEx. If we ever need to have a WebEx conference, we can do that. If you just want to have a phone call, we can do that too, but call me so we can set up a phone time. I do have a phone number, but I honestly don't know what that number is, but I'm happy to have a phone conference or a WebEx conference or an in-person conference, everything we need to do. Just make sure you email me. That's the easiest way to do it. But again, feel free to contact me anytime you've got any questions.